Hey guys, my name is Steve, and I'd like to invite you on my personal journey into the sport of parkour. I'll see you there.
I think striving to be better than what I am, always looking for a challenge. Before I started parkour, it was always just an everyday life, get up, go to work. There was really nothing much that I was involved in. When I found parkour, it really helped my life pick up because it gave me something to look forward to, and it wasn't just a same old repetition. Video games like Assassin's Creed, Mirror's Edge, playing those games is what originally caught my interest in it, because that's what let me know it was out there. So after seeing that, I had a friend that got me into it. It went from there. I ended up taking it a lot further than he did, and before I knew it, I was traveling the States, meeting new people, and just crazy things happening all the time.
Yeah! Awesome.
Yes! It felt good, dude. It felt good. Oh my god, it didn't kill my knee either. Oh, it felt great.
And they got it.
Yes! Oh, that felt really good.
The feeling you get when you do something that you didn't think you could do at first. That's pretty motivating. Most people are trying to just better themselves, better each other. Everyone is working together to try to help each other improve at what they're trying to do.
So I was in track, a little bit of after-school classes, like tried karate, I tried capoeira, longboarding, ultimate frisbee, fencing, and I was always the guy that put a little extra moves into something or got a little wacky with stuff, trying new things that really put me in a unique category outside the sport. People were always telling me to curve myself, cater it back to the sport. You're getting a little off kilter. You don't need that. You're not a delinquent. You're trying to fit yourself into this category of what this sport is. And I didn't realize at the time that what I was looking for would ultimately be a parkour. Once I knew that there was a group out there that actually, it was either parkour or free running, I was pretty sure that there was personally, I didn't think there was any differentiation, and I don't think there should be from what I've seen. But I wrote down find parkour group, and I didn't know how I was gonna do it. I knew I was gonna find a way, and I found a link to a Facebook group. So when I found and I was like, okay, I found Kentuckiana Parkour. Now, are they active? And I had seen they had posted something like 3 days prior. I was like, holy crap.
So here we are. I just touched base with the guys, a couple of the guys from Kentuckiana Parkour, and well, yeah, I made all the introductory stuff. I'm sure they have questions and all that, and we'll get that stuff hashed out. We're headed out right now to watch them do their thing.
Do a little bit of training.
Yeah, whatever.
Check out the park.
This is Marcus and Levi.
We're going over there?
Yeah.
And they are holding on to the mats. I don't know what the mat's called.
It's just a crash mat.
Crash mat.
So we're gonna go try to throw a couple of flips, but we're pretty sore because we had an open gym last night, so we're gonna go see what happens.
And as soon as I kind of get like the premise to how things work, how things, I didn't really know about the community at first. I reached out to Kentuckiana Parkour with basically an initiative, and I believe I originally asked, hey, I have an idea for a video can I come cover you guys or watch you in the gym or something of that nature, watch you train, talk to you, see what parkour is all about. Had I actually found parkour ahead of time, I might not have ever gotten into Jackass stuff. Actually, I think it was 4 or 5 weeks before this event Beast Coast was going on. I'm just like, Beast Coast, send me some information. You know, then the opportunity was provided to travel with Kentuckiana Parkour to cover Beast Coast, and then I just kind of like, when it clicked and I realized what I had in front of me, I'm like, the whole dynamic of this project has just changed like dramatically, and I'm going to take this on.
The people that are stopping them mostly don't own cars either, so.
So we've
awesome.
got some, I mean, Baltimore, man, beautiful.
It is here on the right.
It's gorgeous. We got to take a right. Whoa.
No, it's there on the right. We just need to find somewhere to park now.
The destination is on your right. One
Oh, that's
more
the
East
fountain.
Pratt Street.
You know, we have such an awesome community here. One of the really cool things about parkour is that it's inclusive. We have all kinds of people. We have young people, we have old people, we have people in every range of fitness and shape imaginable, and we get them to come out and play and move. We basically just build this huge playground for people to move on. And humans love to move, we love to play. So parkour is like a training discipline. It's using getting over obstacles as a way to train both your body and your mind. At first, most people don't even know what they're capable of. They don't know what to do with this thing because we sit around and we're so engaged in kind of mental pursuits now that we kind of leave the physical behind a lot of times. And parkour is just rediscovering that. It's play, it's creative, it's figuring out, hey, how many ways can I get over just a picnic table or a railing or a simple box? And through training that, we learn a smooth, fluid, efficient movement. We build strength, and also we build this character because we're looking at obstacles and saying, hey, you know what? I can get over that. I can find a way to get over that. And so when we have a challenge that comes up in our life, we say, hey, I can get over that. I can find a way to get over that. The community is really cool. We have people from all over the world here, and parkour people come from all walks of life. There are no real divisions in parkour.
So I'm from Paris. I'm the creator, the founder of the French freerun family since 2009, a team that you saw in the whole Assassin's Creed video that was put out lately by Devin Supertramp. And I used to do a lot of projects, travel the world, and just meet all of those people in different events that invite me every year. So I can see, you know, like same for the Beast Coast, it's just growing and growing. We're at like 600 people now. That's one of the best and the biggest events in the world right now.
Of what is now officially, unofficially, the largest attended parkour jam in the history of the planet. All 599 of you make this a pretty big event. Thank you so much for being the amazing community that you are. Jam on.
This is the first experience I've ever had doing anything parkour related. I was absolutely stoked to find people who did it. And then I started learning it. I was kind of surprised. I didn't realize your lower back area is apparently part of your core as well. I mean, you know, you learn, you know, and you know that's the whole part of this, whole purpose of this is for you to learn along with me. So that way, you know, you guys will be able to find people just like myself. I was out searching and I found a group, and here I am.
So one thing that happens now is people find parkour on YouTube and they see these really extreme examples of parkour. They see people jumping between two buildings or doing a flip off something really tall. And obviously that's pretty intimidating and not something that people can connect with easily. They don't see themselves doing that same thing.
We're watching these German kids with this techno music jump off of high-ass heights and, you know, scale these ridiculous things on the side, like girders on the sides of old abandoned buildings. And I was just like, oh my God, this is like the coolest thing ever. But there's no way in hell I'm gonna do that. But I'll watch the shit out of this. This is so much fun. We used to watch those videos hours after hours. and then we'd kind of like, then we'd recede back over to Jackass saying, hey, we can, you know, we can do this and this and this because these guys are just like us.
But they don't realize that parkour training could start with jumping off a curb, jumping off one step and then 2 steps, learning to land, roll, fall safely so that you can build your capabilities from there. So I think kind of one of the big barriers for people getting into parkour is this perception that it's all very, very big stuff, when really it starts out with very small stuff.
You know, being actually participating in, nonetheless knowing there's, you know, a supportive community of people that not only, you know, encourage the facilitation of it, but they walk you through the process.
But I lost another piece of skin, probably about half the size of a dime or something like that. Almost the same thickness as it. I got some fresh bandages, so it's all good.
Ready to go.
My ankle today.
I mean, I do think that there is kind of an elite group of athletes in the sport, and people within the sport look up to them. There isn't quite that divide that you see in professional sports like basketball or football. Or, it's much more like a personal practice. You know, with a lot of other sports, it kind of becomes this spectator thing where you're only looking at the star athletes and what they can do. But with parkour, it's like you're being inspired by them to work on your own practice.
What I would suggest for beginners in parkour is to take it easy and slow down. They should learn how to roll first, learn how to jump, learn how to land, and most beginners will just try to throw a backflip or jump this huge gap at first. Most people get injured doing that stuff, and everybody needs to slow down and relax into the parkour. It's like they see the flips on the YouTube and they immediately like, hey, I could do that, and then they go out and get hurt. And it gives parkour a bad name, so I just like to see people slow down. So you can always tell the difference between someone who's been doing this for a while and someone who's a beginner. So beginners will watch someone who's doing parkour, see something on YouTube, and immediately jump into it and try to do the movement.
See? Careful.
Whereas you see someone who's been doing this for a while, they'll check their surroundings. They'll go up to the bar and make sure it's not shaky. They'll go up to a ledge and make sure the brick's not loose. And they'll put their foot on the wall and just feel it out, feel the movement out before they even throw anything. And they might even run up and act like they're gonna do it, and then you think they're hesitating, but in reality they're just getting in the mindset. Whereas beginners will just run up, slop, and hurt themselves, trying to mimic instead of trying to fill it out.
So we're sitting here, post time, Beast Coast, day one. I did some flow training, and as you can tell from my voice, I'm totally out of it now. I think we have a good some GoPro footage of that, but Matthias, he was there. Remember that? Remember that time we did that flow training? I'm totally zoned out right now. I said, remember that time we did that flow training? Yeah. That was fun.
Flow is the ability to move through one vault to another or one move to another smoothly and fluidly as possible. So you go from point A to point B, but the goal is not to get there as fast as possible. It's to get there with as many moves in between as possible and fluidly. So you'll throw a leg over a bar and then do a cartwheel, and then you'll immediately go into a Kong, and then you'll go into a dash vault. And the idea is to try to get all this together in the most smooth fashion, not the fastest.
That's one of the good things when you meet up with the community, we come together. It's very non-judgmental. When you go out and train, you try new things, everybody else is doing it as well. We're all just trying to grow and progress. So you lose the fear of being a beginner and messing up and just not being as good as everybody else, which that's a great thing to have. It helps everybody progress more.
One thing that I would love to point out to anyone who is just getting started in parkour is something that I personally feel is broken about our society as a whole, and that is we frown on failure. We look down on failure, and we see failure as an end and as a stopping point, when really failure is a stepping stone. Failure is an essential component of success. There is no success without failure. There is no singer, no athlete, no successful person that hasn't stumbled and fallen and tripped and scraped themselves time and time and time and time again. The successful ones are the ones that realize that failure is just part of it, and failure is not permanent. You pick yourself up, you keep training, you keep trying, you keep moving, and eventually you get to your goals.
You get someone in a different sport, and if they can't do it, they get disrespected. You don't teach me how to do this if you can't do it anymore, or if you haven't worked yourself there, just because you know how to do it. And in the parkour community, you don't have that. Teachers are respected if they have the knowledge.
I've been training parkour for about 15 years now. I started in 2001 after I saw parkour on Ripley's Believe It or Not. I think that's how it went at the time. And by then I was a gymnast and a diver, and I did a bunch of other movement. So after seeing parkour, it was just like, this is the thing I've been doing my whole life. This is it.
I originally found out about the parkour community through a friend. He saw a video on the internet about 8 years ago, and he was like, hey, all of these people are doing exactly what you're already doing, you know, climbing trees, running around, jumping on rocks. And I was like, okay. And I just watched the video, and I knew from then on that that was exactly what I wanted to be doing. The most difficult part of anyone getting started is just remembering to keep going. Parkour is kind of a sport of failure. You find something you can't really do, and you just practice and practice and practice until you can do it. And then once you can do it, you find the next level of that thing. Maybe it's a precision, maybe it's a wall run. So you gotta just remember that everybody started somewhere, and just continue to push forward. As long as you keep pushing forward, you'll get better.
So when I first saw parkour, I saw David Bell, and I knew that it was real. I knew there were no wires, I knew there were no nets, I knew there were no crash pads, that this was a man who had trained himself to have these capabilities to move like no human I had ever seen before. And I was like, wow, humans can do that. They can do amazing things. And I wanted to try it. I wanted to see what I could do. I knew I wouldn't be able to do the things he was doing, but I knew I'd be able to do something. And so I got out and I jumped off a bench, and I tried bouncing on a rail, and I tried imitating what I had seen them do. And you know, then I searched for a group of people that were kind of doing the same thing.
So when I started parkour, it's been a long time ago, but when I understood that I did parkour, that was because my father told me a story. Like a story that when I was a young kid, I was climbing on a wall who got, you know, higher and higher. Then when I was at some point, I jumped and go down, go up again, and then jump again from higher. And when I was at the top of this wall, I looked at my father and I asked him, like, do you think I can do that? Do you think I can jump from here? And he looked at me and said that, I don't know, how do you feel about it? And I say, I don't think I can do it, I'm not ready for it. So he just say, just go down, train more, then do it again. And that's when my father told me that story, then that I knew when I started like parkour. Because it's not because you watch a video that you're a tracer or freerunner. It's when you understand why you're doing it. I do it because I know when to say no, I'm not ready, and I'm gonna train for it.
Yes. All right, that's as high as I'm going.
Parkour is the method. The result is something you do for yourself. Running is like a mix of the results of different training, different methods. Gymnastic, parkour, tricking, b-boys. It's like a sandwich, just add things on it.
So the parkour community is really awesome. We've been hosting jams for years now, and they started out as just these small get-togethers where it might be 5 people getting together to train in a little spot, and that's still an awesome jam. There is nothing about a big jam that makes it really any better than a small jam, Jams are just getting together to train, and people in the parkour community are so generous and outgoing and open and giving that we just meet up, everybody crashes on somebody's floor, the person is usually a great host, provides food, whatever they can, and people just go and train. And American Parkour has really just started to give people a place to congregate, to communicate, to come together to talk about parkour, to help spread parkour. American Parkour in particular is very strong on our values. We have 3 core values that we stick to: respect for yourself, respect for the environment, and respect for others. And we teach that in everything we do.
Well, we're sitting here messing around, trying a few new moves outside, and the police officer walked up and asked us to stop. That happens a lot in parkour, especially if you're doing it in front of a big business or something like this.
Yeah.
Generally, you're not gonna get arrested or anything like that. Most of the time, if you explain to the cop what you're doing, they're gonna come up and they're just gonna say, hey, you know, I've even had cops come up and say, hey, I like what you're doing, but you can't do this here. It's a public business. They don't want you here. Yeah. You know, so you just leave, and if you respect them, they usually respect you. So that's what we try to do in the community. Just, you know, just be upfront with them, and they'll usually pay that right back to you.
So I think the parkour community, it's kind of tough to describe. It is all encompassing. There's so many different people that come together and do these things, but we all come for this one goal. We all just enjoy moving and exploring our bodies and pushing ourselves, overcoming fear and challenges. So it's great to have those like-minded people come together, because we all be in this great community. We help each other grow. It is wonderful, yeah.
So, I pulled my ankle, right? And Matthias is going to get the cameras out. Thank you.
Sometimes you make a decision before you realize you're physically incapable. And you got to be smart about this shit sometimes. So, transmission off.
It's really easy to look up and find somebody in literally like any state, at least in the United States, that does parkour. And I could be like, message them, contact them, be like, hey, what's up? Like, I'm gonna be in your town this weekend. Where's a good spot to train? And they'll be like, hell yeah, this spot at this time, I'll meet you there, you know?
With that, I've been able to travel all over the world, just show up in a city out of nowhere. You post on Facebook like, hey, I'm in town, and you'll have 5-10 people just like, come by, we got a couch you can crash on, let's go jump on stuff.
The parkour community is amazing. I think we do a lot of things really well. The one thing I would like to see us be the shepherds of is getting more videos out of people that aren't just jacked 18-year-olds doing double fronts, right? It's very easy to get enamored by that movement. But I want to show videos of people that aren't in shape, doing small movements, people that are older, moms doing parkour, grandfathers doing parkour, because that will help show other people that they can get into parkour. We need more people that other people can identify with. We're not all jacked 18-year-olds. So, you know, I want the parkour community to help make parkour accessible to everybody.
It's just, I believe all forms of movement really should be welcome, even though it may not necessarily be parkour and free running. It's a similar movement. Lots of them go hand in hand. Breakdancing, martial arts, it all plays into tricking and parkour into some people's styles, such as flow. So I think segregating the community is not a great thing. I would like to see that stop. Usually segregation is not a good thing, but all I can do is try my best to not do that. I'm always going to have an open heart and welcome anybody into the community that wants to come into it.
I don't do mini flips too often, but I know how to do them. They come in handy, especially for parkour. If you come up short on a jump or something, you slip, it's good to have the body awareness to be able to go backwards, forwards, whatever.
I would say I'd like to see more involvement with the community outside of parkour. The people, you know, who also go to playgrounds and parks but don't really understand what we're doing there. You know, it's a lot of people see us as, you know, thrill seekers and people who are just playing around and, you know, vandals or whatever you want to call it. Where in reality, a lot of what it's about is, you know, you go to a park, you train there, but you also clean it up after you leave. And the whole thing is, you know, leave no trace. We don't want you to know we were there, and if you do, it's because it's cleaner and nicer than what we got there before. So I guess I would like more involvement with the community and just understanding that, you know, we're not there to be hoodlums. We're just trying to make ourselves better. The number one thing a lot of people run into is they don't quite know what to do or what the next step is and things like that. And there'll always be somebody out there that will give encouraging advice. There's advice groups on Facebook, you know, you can contact all kinds of different places like American Parkour and, you know, any other local place you might live, and just ask questions, you know. Where can I find a tutorial on this? Or, you know, send a little video like I'm working on this move and I don't know what's wrong, you know. People are real nice, and they'll give you good advice usually, so don't be afraid to ask. Somebody will always help you.
The best thing with anything, you just have to get out. You have to do it. That's it. You just got to get out and do it. It helps these days with the Facebook, the social media, to be able to meet up with people and go out and do it. But even if you don't have a community, you have to get out. You have to have the motivation if you want to do it and progress. Even if you don't want to progress, if you just want to do it.
But most important of that, try to understand why you want to do it. Learn the story behind it, like what is what, why you're doing it, and then the world is open to you. The world of parkour, the world of freerunning is going to be open to you if you know why you're doing it. For beginners, learn the story of your own sport. I think what impressed me and what I want to see more in the parkour community and freerunning community, it's girls. Girls just raise their community a lot. The first one were in Mexico, like with Kat de la Torres, who used to have all of those girls just running around and doing cool shit at the time. And that was the only big team. And now they are just huge group of women all over the world, which is very, very amazing skills. And I want them to be able to train by themselves. Like just show up at the event with like everyone, just do their things, but have their own way of moving, their own way of teaching, their own way of saying, no, that is my technique and that's different of your technique. Why? Because that's who I am. And I want more girls to do that. And men to be less showing their ego and they cross like hell in the front of them when they try just to train. And there's just respect, as they respect themselves on the obstacle, to respect the women's parkour and freerunning community right now.
What is it about being in a city that makes being out in the open around, you know, the public, that makes this, you know, a little more frightening?
Well, it's, of course, if you're cautious at all, you have all the people watching you, you know they're watching you. One of the first things you learn is how to just block that out. And once you're able to overcome that and focus on what you're doing, you're able to do a lot more creative stuff. But doing it outside versus in a gym, it's a lot more of a challenge. And as free runners and parkour practitioners, we're always looking to challenge ourselves more and try to achieve new things. We want to try to achieve something new every time we go out to train. So moving tricks from the gym outside is always a lot more difficult. But whenever we finally do, which I'm sure you saw me throw those flips earlier, it's one of the best feelings you can ever have. There's a sense of accomplishment that comes with it that I've never quite been able to get out of anything else. I bet it's a similar feeling for football players and stuff when they finally, you know, get their winning touchdown or break a record or something like that. You know, it's probably a similar feeling there, but I've never been able to find anything else but parkour and free running. So that's why I really enjoy it.
Nailed it! Yeah, really.
But the concept of coming to a new place and 400 or 500 other people converging on this place, all speaking the same language, it's really hard to pass up because it only happens once a year. You may or may not even be able to get to any other events that year. Between work and everything else, some of us get pretty busy. I have a day job as well. So if there's one event that I definitely want to get to that I know everybody's going to be at, it's Beast Coast. Everybody's always trying to get there. Every year I can run into almost all my friends there.
It's a really great opportunity. So coming back to Beast every year is just this eye-opening chance to network with everybody, to communicate, to learn, to kind of bounce ideas off of each other.
Here we are in Baltimore.
Trying to follow me, but I've been grinding through the grit like harmony, and y'all ain't heard my voice since the anomaly, but I've been working on mines and I stomp MCs on the daily, and this is how I get it.
Get kind of locked in a box as we grow up, and when you finally realize that you can break out of that, there's just an exuberance that kind of comes out, and I think that's a good thing. And I think everyone kind of experiences that when they start doing parkour, and I think it's just part of the learning process. The first time you do something, you're not going to be great at it, but you're exploring your boundaries, you're seeing what you can do and what you can't do, and sometimes that means getting scraped up and bruised and, you know, getting hurt, but, you know, you wise up pretty quick.
It's Fleet Street, and we're looking for the Demon Barber. Marcus, help me find the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. Now that I've been exposed to this whole new world, it's really interesting what all you will notice differently when you're actually involved in this kind of stuff and you see everything a whole different way. You know, no, I'm gonna do this real quick, hold this. Is it going?
It is going.
That's a little high.
Yeah, it's, you see, he was right about the height. Like, if it ain't, like, right under your waist, it's a lot harder to get over.
Yeah, it's like belly button walking. Yeah, it's a little high. It is. Holy crap. I've been desiring to do this kind of stuff for a long time. If you want to get into something fun and it's, you know, good for stretching, exercise, it's family friendly, kids can get into it, you know, it's like an all age appropriate thing. If you are physically, I mean, if you're physically capable, there are stories, and, you know, I've seen footage of people with, you know, no legs, one leg, amputees, people who can't hear. I don't know if there's any blind folks in it. I'm sure there are to some degree. People who are, you know, people with various handicaps get involved in all kinds of sports. So I would recommend this. If you want to have fun and you want to let loose your inner child and actually like categorize it as a sport, this is it. Like, I don't know how else to put it. It's parkour. The goal is to get out and have fun. It's a supportive community, and I'm gonna get back to it. So you guys have a good one. I'm gonna go do some flow training.
What groups you've worked with, how you really got into parkour and found Beast Coast.
That's gonna be a long story.
Oh my God! Yes!